Hello, I'm here to talk about a new animated show that's called Arcane, League of Legends, and if that title didn't tip you off, this is a spin-off thing from League of Legends, the previously very successful video game series, franchise, whatever, from Riot Games. Riot Games has all kinds of problems. Are they better now? Probably not, but they have been very aggressively trying to expand the League universe, basically, at this point, because they have new spin-off games coming out, apparently. Then they have this show, Arcane, which supposedly gives, it's sort of a prequel thing, gives background info on the main characters, the champions from League of Legends. Can you tell I don't play League and I don't care? It was a thing like 10 years ago. I was vaguely aware of it. I'm not invested in the world at all. I don't know the lore, so forgive me if that bothers you, that I'm referencing stuff that I just didn't know about previously as part of this show, but I'm here to talk about the show specifically, and I probably wasn't planning on watching it at all, and then I saw a couple of videos come out that were like, hey, it's actually a pretty good show, so I said, whatever, it's on Netflix, it's easy enough to watch, so I checked it out. The most important thing to say here is that, visually speaking, this is incredibly impressive. This is a beautiful show. It doesn't necessarily feel new completely. It feels new for animated television or for like animated streaming shows. Points to the art direction for sure, because it walks some delicate lines, I feel. More specifically, if you're familiar with video games, you've probably seen entire games that have this art style, something like Borderlands, or certainly any games from Telltale. This show basically looks like a Telltale game, but really high budget and crazy framing, shot composition, stuff like that. It also looks a lot like digitally painted concept art that you'll see these days. It's a very common style to have, this implied detail in most of the backgrounds and very nice color palettes. And then you have, you have detail exactly where you need to have detail, usually in characters or sort of key items. So for the world of video games, no, this isn't new at all. For the world of visual arts in general, and specifically concept art, nope, not new at all. But for animated television, I can't really think of anything else that looks quite like this. So I'm not too surprised that many people are hailing this as like, oh wow, the visuals are so incredible. The show looks fantastic. That's the best thing I can say about it, is it looks fantastic. If you want like free HD wallpapers for your PC, this show just cranks them out. Like it's one of those ones where you could take a still from pretty much any scene, any shot, and it's going to look wonderful. But here's the thing. Shows are more than just their visual elements. The other major piece of the puzzle here, obviously, is storytelling. It's the narrative side of things. And as I already mentioned, this is apparently a prequel series that gives background info on characters who are central to the main game. With that in mind, if I was a big fan of the series, I could see this being kind of exciting. Like, oh, okay, we finally get to see the characters brought to life. I never thought that the appeal of League was its story. I kind of thought it was more like a multiplayer thing, actual gameplay, being really competitive, all that kind of stuff, but apparently not. Maybe people like this world building, they like this lore. Wow, I think the storytelling is really awful, and on multiple levels. So you have the broad level of like structure, master plot, themes, setup, premise, all that kind of stuff. And then you have the smaller micro level of like dialogue, character interactions, character development, character archetypes. It's bad on all of those levels. It's just so cliche. I know I was talking about this in the Raya video too, but everybody wants their visuals to be better. They do not care if the storytelling continues to stagnate for decades at a time. It's so cliche. Everything about it, literally. I was predicting dialogue before they said it because it is the standard dialogue. It's the standard dialogue for heroes, standard dialogue for sidekick characters, standard dialogue for villains. It's the same lines even. Oh, they even use the phrase "stop at nothing" many times. And whoa, was this on purpose? Were they trying to pack as many cliches into this script as possible? It really started to get on my nerves. And in terms of specific plot stuff, like, oh boy, obviously there's a lot of stuff around class conflict. You have these two cities. You have the upper city where all the rich people live, and then you have the under city where the poor people live and they're disenfranchised. It's like, yep, okay, no, yeah, never seen that before. Nope. Narratives about class conflict are still relevant. They will probably always be relevant, unfortunately, and I don't think that they are without value, but the degree to which this just felt like completely hackneyed, it really started to bug me. On top of that, you have, this is real, I promise, there's a bad guy serum. I was trying to remember some other ones I saw recently. They had it in one of the segments in Saturday Morning All-Star Hits. They have it in Zootopia. I feel like that was a thing that came up in one of the RoboCop sequels. Maybe I'm wrong. But you know it. You've seen this a million times. Oh, Cowboy Bebop, it's in there with Red Eye. You have this like bad guy serum, and it's sort of like an analog for a drug, or it's explicitly called a drug, and when you take it, it makes you like a monster, and you go crazy. So many times. And like, okay, whatever. Maybe this was in the original game as some kind of like power-up or as a bad thing. I'm sorry. Just watching this as a show and trying to absorb its story as a story, it's just trash. It's something that I've seen way too many times before. I don't think that they did anything interesting with it. The theme song is terrible. Oh my god, I don't know if it actually was Imagine Dragons or if it was like a terrible ripoff of Imagine Dragons. Either way, ooh, embarrassing. It comes across like the people involved in the show are out of touch. Music direction, or rather music supervision in general, felt just off. Like they didn't really have a strong vision of what the style would be here, so it's just like licensed tracks on top of incredibly generic score music, beyond the story being incredibly cliche and everything, and very predictable to anyone who's seen movies or shows or even played video games before. That would be more forgivable, I think, if it was a little bit more lighthearted and a little bit more self-aware, but there's none of that. Zero self-awareness. This show takes itself extremely seriously, and I have a feeling that's because of the, Riot Games oversight. Like, there's no way they would have okayed their first big, TV, quote-unquote, spin-off to be, like, goofy and self-referential. It might have worked better, but they were not going to have that here, and I think it's to the detriment of the show. You can't be completely predictable and hackneyed and also act like you're the most important story that's ever been told. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to pick one or the other, and to me, this is a pretty bad combination. But just to sum up, it's a mixed bag for sure. It's one of those, maybe you were waiting for it, this is one of those shows that you should watch with the sound off. Just mute it, don't worry about the dialogue, don't worry about the character stuff, you know what happens already. Just watch it with the sound off, enjoy the wonderful color palettes and the pretty effects. This show also does a really great job at animating magic, I think, and making it seem not lame. Even the Marvel movies with Doctor Strange, they make magic look so lame, and I thought they did a good job here of making it look impactful and cool and visually interesting. I didn't mention the production company who's actually responsible for making the show is Fortiche Studio, I think. They're based in Paris. Good work everybody there. I think that's about it. Yell at me if you're a League fan for some reason in the year 2021, and thanks for stopping by.